I saw this story, and I said to Fritzy, you know what? Get a hold of Tom Verducci. I know he's traveling through spring training, stopping by the Rays today, but I just wanted to understand what exactly is going on with the Angels. They spent all this money. They've loaded up. You got Pujols. You got Hamilton now, and you want to keep your best player happy in Mike Trout. Well, they gave him a $20,000 raise. I don't know what Trout expected or his agent, what the Angels should have done. Should they have given him more? Could they have given him more? So Tom Verducci, kind enough to join us on short notice. Tell me what your reaction was when you saw that the Angels gave Mike Trout a $20,000 raise.
I looked at the reaction of Jerry Dipoto, the general manager, who said, this is the first time we've been criticized for not paying players enough. And yeah, they did get some blowback because it's a tiny raise, barely above the minimum. Here's what's happening. In the last 2 or 3 years, clubs have gone to these, let's call them formulas, to pay their 0 to 3 players, non-arbitration players. And because the minimum salary has now got up to almost $500,000, they're really starting to crunch these guys on the front end of their contract. So it's based mostly on service time, performance. And they have these grids now. And the Rays did this last year to Jeremy Hellickson. And they say, you know what, you had a great year, but you know, the minimum is so high now, and we now have this scale that we're just going to plug you in based on service time, and these guys know this going in.
Well, I'm trying to understand what the Angels should have done, because bigger picture here, the last thing you want to do is have this sort of festering there. Agent, star player. Did Trout expect this?
Trout expected, in the words of his agent, to be treated, quote-unquote, fairly. So they did want the Angels to take performance and obviously a historic season, not just Rookie of the Year, but historic season into play. So, again, go back to guys like Jeter and Kerry Wood and Albert Pujols. Those guys, after Rookie of the Year, they were getting raises that were double, maybe even triple what they made as rookies. But the minimum salary was a lot lower back then. So clubs have decided to cut it back now and just say, listen, you're going to make a lot of money even if it's minimum salary. I thought what was interesting, Dan, was the agent came out and said he was disappointed. Well, we get that. He was expected to be treated like a historic Rookie of the Year. But then he also made reference that just as he was disappointed about being moved out of center field, that kind of caught me off guard because I hadn't heard Trout complain about that. But now you've got a guy who's gone from center field to left field. And now you have a guy whose number is salary for 2013 is a lot less than what he expected to be fair. And that's a concern for clubs. Will guys be so upset or so disappointed about being treated this way that it affects their long-term relationship with the franchise? Obviously, the Angels think it won't. And Trout seems like a great guy that, I don't think he's going to play any less in the 2013 season than he would otherwise.
Yeah, I read comments about that, and we had Trout on, and I talked to him about moving to left field, and he said, that's a possibility, and this is a while ago. Now it's a reality, and he says, look, I'm a center fielder. So he's a center fielder who got a $20,000 raise who's moving to left field. That doesn't seem like that's how you want to start your season. I don't know if it lingers there, but I was wondering if they would have taken the approach that the Rays did with Evan Longoria, which was brilliant. The guy hadn't even been in the major leagues, and they signed him up to a long-term deal. Bryce Harper got a 5-year deal. So I'm surprised the Angels didn't look at this and say, let's just lock him up, because the last thing you want to do is have him play out, to free agency in 2014 and have some bad blood there.
Yeah, I agree. In a perfect world, my goodness, they would love to lock him up right now. And going back to Longoria, that was one of the great deals of all time. And in fact, they pretty much told him, they haven't confirmed this, but they pretty much told him, listen, we're not bringing you up to the major leagues and starting your service clock unless we've got cost certainty that we can buy out long-term arbitration and free agent years. And he agreed, and he got a very club-friendly contract. Mike Trout right now might be the most valuable player in all of baseball when you consider what his value is. I mean, the Angels are paying Pujols $30 million a year for his 39 and 40-year-old seasons. Mike Trout, how much are his prime years worth right now? Try to put a number on that. I mean, I don't even know what number to begin with, and I don't think the Angels do. So the chances of getting him signed to anything long-term right now, I'll even say next year, are probably extreme because we don't even know how high his value is going to go.
All right, final question here. Blank checkbook, Trout or Strasburg?
I would take Trout just because I think, the catastrophic injuries, the ones that put guys down for a year or more for position players, there's not too many of those. It rarely happens. Pitching wise, I mean, you know the list. You can go through them all. I mean, I think in terms of long term, even shorter term, 3 or 4 years, an everyday player to me is a better buy than a pitcher, and I would go with Trout. He's also younger too.
Well, you know what? On that topic, more likely to leave their team, Strasburg or Trout.
Well, I would say Strasburg because he's a Scott Boras client. And I don't want to throw them all into the same blanket, but history tells you that those are the toughest guys to lock up.
Well, have fun in spring training. Thanks for joining us on short notice, Tom.
You got it. Thank you.
All right, Tom Verducci, senior baseball writer at Sports Illustrated.